Hi, I'm Samuel, and this is Duty. Have you signed up for the launch of There's an Alien in My Toilet on Kickstarter? I hope that you do. It's gonna be a hilarious ride. The link is in the summary. See you there. Welcome to the Craze in 10 or less. This is the show where I give it to you in 10 minutes or under. And if I don't, that's what happens. Anyway, a work for hire agreement or creative partnership? That's the topic of the day. I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera. Stop acting up. Let's get it. All right. What are we talking about? So the reason why I'm having this conversation with you today is because, no thanks, get out my way. I'm trying to see stuff. All right. So recently it came up in the news a couple of days ago that Robert Kirkman is being sued over rights and royalties to Invincible. Right. So I'm taking this straight out of Cinema Blend. And it says, the question of the day is why is why is the Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman being sued over Prime's video Invincible? So basically, he is being sued by Crabtree, William Crabtree. So apparently they created the series together, and they had an oral agreement, but then he was asked by Crabtree years ago to sign a work for hire agreement, an artist for hire, which is like a freelance. And if in order for him to be able to pitch it, so I said Kirkman falsely told Crabtree that Crabtree's rights and financial interest in the work would remain unchanged if he signed the certificate of authorship, and that the document would simply allow Kirkman to market the licensor of the work more easily, resulting in greater profits for both of them. So, and apparently, William Crabtree alleged that he and Kirkman made an oral agreement in 2005 where the artist would get 20% of the comics sales and profits and 10% of any revenue generated by any film and television project associated with the property. But he was duped in his eyes, right? So then, I'm not going to go into the whole thing about those two. The conversation is, what's the difference, right? And the difference is, like, a work for hire agreement is basically, when you creators go out there and you're on Facebook and you're on DeviantArt and you're on Instagram and you're like, I'm looking for an artist because you created a project and you need an artist to illustrate the project. That's basically the beginning of a work for hire, right? And then you sign an agreement. They're just doing the illustrations. That's it. They have no rights to anything. They have no rights to royalties. They have no rights to any of that stuff. Now, to give you an example of what that means, work for hire agreement. This is a basic work for hire agreement where the contractor is an artist being hired by a creative firm for a work or design. You're the creative firm, right? And so there's nothing attached. You're not going to have somebody come, down the road 5 years later when your stuff pops up saying, I created this. No, you did not. You were provided character designs, you were provided a script, and all you had to do was illustrate, right? So you have no rights to it. Now, that's very different than a co-creator agreement. And a co-creator agreement, that's where you have to really understand the fundamentals of these things and avoid this. That's why I always say, make sure you send agreements and contracts to whoever you're working with and you're hiring. In fact, I was just consulting someone they're looking to hire a children's book illustrator, but they don't want any claims to rights of their stuff. So, and I walked them through the process. Number one, make sure everything is protected. Whether you have a logo for it, your story's copywritten, make sure all that's done. Make sure you have character designs that they're not creating the characters for you. You have designs and references that you're providing. Then make sure you have them sign a non-disclosure agreement. That's the biggest thing, right? They can't talk about it. They can't promote it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They will get the credit in the book saying illustrated by. That's it, illustrated by. So I walked them through the fundamentals. So you want to make certain as a creator that you understand the difference and you don't walk into that. You know, the days of loyalty have gone astray when it comes to money. That's bottom line. And I've seen it happen all the time. It happened to me in the music business, right? So, a little bit of money started coming in. We started getting recognition. We're doing shows, and then it went to hell in a basket because, internally, some people on the team wanted more money, wanted bigger shares, felt entitled, demanded certain things, and it was one of the key fundamentals that broke the group up. And for some reason, it always starts out pure. It always starts out with pure intentions. If you're creating something together and you're like, oh yes, and we're gonna do this and we're gonna pop off, and then once the dollars come in, it just everybody forgets about that, right? So that's why you want to make sure that you walk through the process with the people you're working with, that you're very honest with. You put something in writing, because it's a legal document. Get it. If you want to go to the next level, go to make it official. Go to an attorney, or just write out a written contract between the two of you and go get it notarized. And this way, you don't have to worry about things changing down the road, and make sure everybody has the same document. You know what I'm saying? So that is how you're going to avoid these pitfalls down the road. It's unfortunate, but it happens all the time, right? So my suggestion, my recommend to you, if you're creating something with somebody, make sure you outline the fundamentals. Make sure that you understand, because we've seen money break up. We've seen it happen to the creators of the Turtles. We've seen it happen where all of a sudden everybody goes in different directions, and it's just what happens. Just be clear in the beginning. Don't beat around the bush. Avoid the pitfalls. And that's basically the topic for today. I wanted to make it short and sweet. It's not that complicated. Work for hire agreement, you're hiring a freelancer. Co-creator agreement, that's where you got to divvy up the shares and figure out who gets what and whatever the case is, and put it in writing. Protect yourself. Protect everybody. If you respect each other from the beginning, respect each other enough to just say, look, here's a writing, boom, 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 and that's it, and just go from there. So with that said, if you have any topics you want to discuss, I have a topic for next week that my boy Aniboy of Royals Corporeals hit me up with, and I'm going to talk about it next week. And but if you have any topics, just hit me up. Just write them in the comments below. If you felt that I rushed this and you wanted me to deep dive, let me know. But I feel like I've given you the gist, right? If you haven't done so already, 49 of you have already signed up for the launch of There's an Alien in My Toilet on Kickstarter. So who's going to be 50? Are you going to sign up today? Are you going to join me for the launch party? Are you going to be there when it pops off, when duty gets to Earth? Right? So give us a thumbs up if you like this episode. Subscribe, share, like. Don't miss an episode. I'm Sam, the Crazy Man. This is the Crazy 10 or Less. I'm out.